Thank you, Dan. Well, you can see my desktop, and on my desktop I've got my mail client with an urgent email from Dan. I'll come back to that in a moment. I have a folder in which I've got a number of files that I'm working on, including some very important ones. And here I have the new user interface for Intercept X, so you can see things as they unfold. So back to that email. Well, I've got an email apparently from Dan. It's marked urgent. There's urgent in the text. I can see it's from Dan because there's a picture of Dan, and he's asking for me to immediately have a look at the latest widget pricing. Well, this is a social engineering attack, and this document contains a ransomware payload, a variant of HydroCrypt, actually. But let's pretend for a second I fall for this exercise. Word opens the document as it's instructed, and here we can see the widget sales predictions. Now, Word is smart. It puts this document in a kind of document sandbox because it sees that the document contains macros. But the bad guys are smart too, and this particular ransomware attack is going to try to convince me that to get the very latest widget pricings, I need to enable editing. And I'm going to do that because I want to give Dan the best data possible. Of course, what's actually going to happen is it's going to attempt a ransomware attack on all the documents on my machine. Fortunately for me, I'm protected by Intercept X CryptoGuard. Here you can see a piece of toast has popped up to let the user know that the ransomware was blocked. We can see the malicious behavior has been detected, the threat has been detected, and I as a user have been prompted that perhaps I should get in contact with my IT administrator. Naturally, of course, under normal circumstances, this user interface is hidden in a bar here. This dialog box is simply the bad guys trying to keep me busy whilst the attack took place. But what's most interesting is look what happened over here in the documents. You can see that some of these documents have been encrypted by HydroCrypt. It stops here though, because that's when CryptoGuard detected the malicious behavior, and it is a behavior-based detection, and stopped the process from being able to continue. In short, the ransomware attack could go no further. On top of that, automatically, CryptoGuard undid the attack, in essence, rolling back the contents of the encrypted document back to their original state. This is what this document looks like if I didn't have CryptoGuard running as a part of Intercept X. Frankly, everything's been encrypted, and if all my documents look like this, I'm probably going to be forced to pay the bitcoins. However, CryptoGuard caught the attack and rolled back the first couple of files that were touched in the early part of the attack back to their original state. So none of my data is lost. Well, that's very good, but let's take a look at what an administrator would see. Here I've logged into the Sophos Central dashboard. I can see an alert that represents the attack we just saw demonstrated on the endpoint. If I click on that, I can see that Intercept X has correctly reported to Sophos Central that CryptoGuard was detected, and that's a ransomware attack. Now, if one didn't have root cause analysis, that might be all the information that you got. And all it tells me is that I was kept safe from a ransomware attack, but not the root cause. Well, this is what root cause analysis provides us. If I click on root cause analysis, here's the attack that just took place a few minutes ago. If I click on this attack, root cause analysis, I see a high-level view of the attack. What was the type of attack? Were any business files involved? On what machine and what user did it take place? When? And, very briefly, what's the root cause? And you'll notice it's not the beacon application. It is not the application that was convicted. Let's look at that attack in a visual format. So here is a visualization of the attack as it took place, from when it was caught, the beacon event, which is in this program called tester2.exe, all the way back to the root cause, which, if you remember the demonstration, was indeed my mail client or Outlook. So Obviously, an administrator wouldn't know, without root cause analysis, the steps that Russ had taken to get to the point where his machine was about to be attacked, and indeed an attack attempt occurred for ransomware. Well, now you can see this. Here I can see the Outlook, an email client obviously. Russell obviously attempted to look at this document called latest widget pricing. That was written to a temporary directory by Outlook, so I now know that I double clicked on it in the mail. That opened Word because that's the appropriate application for that document. And Word just so happened to write a temporary file which was opened by another instance of Word, which is in essence in the sandbox. But, as you know, Russ clicked enable edit, so he came out of the sandbox and the macro ran, reaching out to a website that is in this list, and here are a list of the websites that were communicated to you during the attack. Now, none of those are known bad, otherwise our malicious traffic detection capability would have caught it. But let's pretend that one of those in this demonstration was an unknown website that hosted the second part of this attack, which is this application that was downloaded and executed. That application was executed, and it actually ran through the console host and ran another instance of itself. That application was the application that was going to actually attempt to do the ransomware attack. And that was the application that started to read these files, and here are the rich text files in the documents folder that I was working on. And then as it attempted to write those, in other words, encrypt those files, our CryptoGuard capability caught it and convicted it. So here you can see the whole threat chain, from conviction all the way through to root cause, and all of the activities that happened by all of the actors between these two events, from the identified root cause through to the beacon event. As you can see, that gives us a lot of information. I know as an administrator, for example, that Russell still has this mail in his inbox, most likely. I probably want to have a look to see if this document exists anywhere. I could double check to see if any of these IP addresses are familiar ones, and I can do that either here, interactively in the visualize presentation of a root cause analysis, or I can very easily pop over to the artifact screen, which lists all of the artifacts in the threat chain. Quickly click on network connections, and here I can see any network connection made by any process in that chain from start to finish. This would allow me perhaps to identify any lateral movement attempts or any high value asset attacks that may have occurred. Didn't happen in this particular demonstration, but a very easy way for someone to have a quick look to see if perhaps anything else may have been involved in the overall attack. And remember, we've distilled this down to a simple high level view.